Good afternoon, and welcome to the 24th Annual Energy Efficiency Forum. Buildings are complicated. Until you really start to understand them, you can't appreciate exactly how complicated they are. We've put together for you today, from our panelists, an opportunity to say, how are they handling these things?
The reason I'm sitting up here is we're in the process of replacing our current campus. We have a staff of 64. When I started with Wishart 12 years ago, we had a staff of 112. We're doing a lot more with a lot less. So those are the challenges that we continue to face.
Today we have over 900 IP-level BACnet devices on our system that's all integrated together. So we realized that we had made it over that technical hurdle of getting things on the wire. And now our big challenge was that data was simply eating up hard drives and largely being ignored.
So we've been able to take some of the tools like PanOptix and really focus in on the analytics and the data that's coming out with good actionable data, because there certainly is a lot out there.
We currently have about 22 buildings. Up until 2010, we had no technology in our buildings. We built a LEED Platinum town hall. We're using more energy in this LEED Platinum than we did our previous 40-year-old town hall.
How do two people stay ahead of what's going on in 22 buildings?
So we sort of consider PanOptix like an additional employee, because it's helping us look at our faults, things of that nature, to try to commission our building. Although these guys are much larger scale than Town of Wake Forest, no matter what size of scale, we all have the same problems.
When you started designing the hospital, thinking about how to integrate technology, but because of the time lag from that concept to today, there's been a lot of changes.
Absolutely. The goal quickly became, how do we keep doors open now? How do we make sure we're not creating systems that won't be adaptable to that ever-changing technology, whatever it is? And I think the biggest thing that becomes is that every provider, every physician is going to walk in with their own device and expect their device to hook into our system. And if that doesn't sound like a HIPAA concern for our IT security folks, I mean, there is the big nut to crack.
Charles, I was curious, because you're in the software business, if you could talk maybe a little bit about technology adoption.
But we certainly see the amount of a difference in the data that we're getting by this push to the cloud. We need to be on the ground, in the field, not so much tied to the desktop anymore, and so we need the tools really to work for us out there. So when a technician comes to the building, they already know some of the things that are wrong, rather than having to go on a hunt to go find the issue. And so some of that proactiveness is really starting to translate into dollars now.
Mark, how do you show back to your leaders, that it delivered the return that you expected?
We've done this in a couple buildings. We've installed new technology in buildings that we really didn't have any data for. And then we've taken that a step further, and we've applied continuous diagnostics to those buildings with a new technology. So step one is getting something new in the building that can provide data. Step two is then using that data, and we've shown further reductions in our utility.
This question is for Mickey. Has your perspective changed about the LEED process? And then secondly, how has PanOptix helped you bridge the gap between some of the inefficiencies that you've achieved through the LEED Platinum building?
It hasn't really changed. I see a lot of good in the LEED. I sometimes wonder about the cost up front, not seeing where our payback's going to come from with our building, because it's not operating to the standards it was designed. And the PanOptix has helped me find some faults in our HVAC systems, things that were going on that I did not realize.
Do we want to take a question from online?
What are your thoughts on social networking trends, and especially community in the building efficiency space?
Well, I'll say from my standpoint, I like to connect the community available with PanOptix. If you have an issue you can't put your hand on, put it out there and others can comment back.
I've started to get some more interest from people, if I can share a story that, hey, I learned this from the guy that works at Miller Park. He said something to me on the social media, and I shared that story with our team. And again, I was talking with someone in Abu Dhabi, actually, so that was interesting that someone on the other side of the world was asking me a question.
You're making great progress in efficiency. What percentage of the way are you at on your journey?
Well, I think it's an evolving journey. I don't know if you can actually nail down a percentage of.
Where's the end point?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you to our panelists for taking the time to come and share your lessons learned